Hello, I am Dr. Chris Magiera from Warsaw, Indiana, and I am running for the United States House of Representatives from the 3rd Congressional District of Indiana. Every day, the career politicians and the massive administrative state that they support infringe upon your God-given natural rights and liberties. The founders created the Constitution to guide the formation of a central government whose function would be to secure these inalienable rights. The founders had just lived through the dreaded writs of assistance, which were blank general warrants issued by the Crown, allowing unlimited searches and seizures in the colonies. And they were determined to never allow this to happen again. Fast forward to modern times and the 1978 creation of the FISA courts. FISA is an acronym for Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, and it was passed in response to the abuses of President Richard Nixon and his use of the FBI and CIA to spy on Americans in violation of federal law and the Fourth Amendment. The activities of the FISA court, as well as the activities of the NSA and other agencies, acting under the auspices of the Patriot Act and the USA Freedom Act, are much in the headlines these days. From spying on Americans to bulk collection of data, there has been much controversy. Is FISA even constitutional? In a 9/26/13 article from Creators.com, Judge Andrew Napolitano made the argument that FISA is unconstitutional. His argument revolves around the case or controversy requirement of Article 3, Section 2. He stated, I quote here, "The Constitution establishes a limited federal government which includes a limited federal judiciary. Because the framers feared that federal judges might act as super legislatures and go about declaring unconstitutional whatever legislation or presidential actions displeased them, they wrote into Article 3 of the Constitution the absolute prerequisite of the existence of a case or controversy before the jurisdiction of any federal court could be invoked." And he continued, "In the FISA court, only the government appears, seeking a generalized search warrant without regard to the facts of any specific case. There is no case or controversy," end quote. If this is so, why do we even have such acts? Well, the answer is fear. The people and their representatives were duped into abandoning liberty because of necessity and safety. It is a universal technique as old as the concept of government itself. William Pitt the Younger, in an address to the British House of Commons in 1783, said, and I quote, "Necessity is the plea for every infringement of human freedom. It is the argument of tyrants. It is the creed of slaves." End quote. So, how does all this relate to the question of the May 2020 Republican Party primary election for the 3rd Congressional District of Indiana? Well, it has to do with the voting record of the incumbent, Representative Jim Banks. On 1/11/18, he voted yes on S-139, FISA Amendments Reauthorization Act of 2017. Then, on 11/19/19, he voted no on H.R. 3055, the Continuing Appropriations Act, 2020. And Further Health Extenders Act of 2019. This act provided for extension of certain provisions of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. So now I am confused. First he was in favor of FISA, and now he is against it. The people deserve ideological consistency from their representatives in Congress. The excuse that these bills are too big or too complex is invalid. The founders never intended for the federal government to be too big or too complex to manage. So what is the cure for this malignant transformation of the administrative state? That is simple. I offer the visionary concept of the Constitution solution. If elected to Congress from the 3rd District of Indiana, I pledge to constitutionally legislate 100% of the time, not delegate, so you won't have to litigate to reclaim your God-given natural rights and liberties. So in May 2020, vote for the Constitution solution. Vote for Dr. Chris Magiera for Congress. Thank you. If you enjoyed this video, please comment, like, or share. I'm Chris Magiera, and I approve this message. Paid for by friends at Chris Magiera Incorporated.